Greetings, everyone. My name is Charles Kovach. You're not safe for work presidential candidate campaigning for more direct democracy. And in this video, I am going to be reading a piece of legislation that I'm waiting to load. Here we go. This legislation was introduced by Representative Michael Doyle. This is H.R. 1644, Save the Internet Act of 2019, which has already passed the House as of this reading. Let's begin. Okay, Section 1, short title. Section 2, Restoration of Open Internet Order. Alpha, repeal of Rule 1. In general, the declaratory ruling, report, and order in the matter of restoring Internet freedom that was adopted by the Commission on December 14, 2017, which was FCC 17 TAC 166, shall have no force or effect. 2. Prohibition on reissued rule or new rule. The declaratory ruling, report, and order described in paragraph 1 may not be reissued in substantiality the same form, and a new rule that is substantially shall not be and a new rule that is substantially may not be reissued in substantially the same form. Okay, brain fart done. And a new rule that is substantially the same as such declaratory ruling, report, and order may not be issued unless the reissued or new rule is specifically authorized by a law enacted after the date of the enactment of this act. Bravo, restoration of repealed and amended rules. The following are restored as in effect on January 19, 2017. 1. The report and order on remand declaratory ruling and order in the matter of protecting and promoting the open internet that was adopted by the Commission on February 26, 2015, which was FCC 15 TAC 24. 2. Part 8 of Title 47, Code of Federal Regulations. 3. Any other rule of the Commission that was amended or repealed by the declaratory ruling, report, and order described in subsection Alpha 1. That is the... So far it's talking about fuck you at GPI and other people in the FCC. You're now going to do what we tell you to do because we're making it a law. Charlie, definitions in this section. 1. Commission. The term commission means the Federal Communications Commission. 2. Restored as in effect on January 19th, 2017. The term restored as in effect on January 19th, 2017 means with respect to the declaratory ruling and ordering described in subsection Bravo 1, that's the net neutrality rule, to permanently reinstate the rules and legal interpretations set forth in such declaratory ruling and order as in effect on January 19th, 2017. Uses word to define word. Love it. Including any decision as in effect on such date to apply or forbear from applying provision of the Communications Act of 1934, which is 47 U.S.C. 151 in secular, or a regulation of the Commission. 3. Rule. The term rule has the meaning given to such term in Section 804 of Title 5 United States Code. Section 3. Exception to enhancement to transparency requirements relating to performance characteristics and network practices for small businesses. Alpha, in general, the enhancements to the transparency rule to the performance characteristics and network practices of the Commission under Section 8.3 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations as described in paragraphs 165 through 184 of the report and order on remand, declaratory ruling, and order in the matter of protecting and promoting the open internet that was adopted by the Commission February 26, 2015, which was FCC 15 TAC 24, shall not apply to any small business. Why? The matter of protecting that one. Enhancement made to the enhancement made to the transparency rule relating to the performance characteristics and network practices of the Commission under Section 8.3 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations as described in paragraphs yada 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 in the matter of protecting and promoting the open internet that was adopted. Okay. Bravo. Sunset. Subject Alpha shall not have any force or effect after the date that is 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act. Charlie, report by the FCC. Not later than 180 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Commission shall submit to the Committee on Energy and Commerce of the House of Representatives and the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the Senate a report that contains recommendation of the Commission and data supporting such recommendations regarding 1. Whether the exception provided in subsection alpha should be made permanent, and 2. Whether the definition of the term small business for the purposes of such exception should be modified in the subsection delta 3, which is what I'm trying to get to before I comment on this. So definitions, which is delta, definitions in this section. 1. Broadband internet access service. The term broadband internet access service is the meaning given to such term in section 8.2 of Title 47, Code of Federal Regulations. 2. Commission. The term commission means the Federal Communications Commission. 3. Small business. The term small business means any provider of broadband internet across service that has not more than 100,000 subscribers aggregated over all of the provider's affiliates. Okay. So that's what I was looking for. So but why? Why? So if the internet service provider has less than 100,000, has 100,000 subscribers or less, you can prevent people. This this becomes a double-edged sword thing, because first off, why say that people can still limit access to the internet? I don't get that. That's stupid. But on the other hand, why would you limit access to the internet if you're a small company? You're kind of preventing yourself from growing if you're what's it called? If you're not providing the service. So, this being thrown in there just throws in all kinds of questions. Okay, Section 4, GAO report on Internet ecosystem. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Comptroller General of the United States shall submit to a Congress reporting examining the effective rules described in Section 2 Bravo of the virtuous cycle of the Internet ecosystem and whether such rules protect the access of consumers to a free and open Internet. That's interesting. So, we're going to make a law allowing for a free and open Internet, and then we're going to see if it allows for a free and open Internet. Okay. Section 5, report. Not later than 3 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Federal Communications Commission shall submit to the Committee on Energy and Commerce and of the House of Representatives and the Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the Senate a report that lists the 27 provisions of Title II of the Communications Act of 1934, 47 U.S.C. 201 et sequitur, and the over 700 rules and regulations referred to in paragraphs 5 and 37 of the report and order on remand, declaratory ruling and order as described in subsection 2 Bravo 1, which is the net neutrality rule. Section 6, GAO report on importance of open internet rules to vulnerable communities. Alpha, in general, not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Comptroller General of the United States shall submit to Congress a report examining the importance of the open internet rules to vulnerable communities. Bravo, definitions in this section. Open internet rules. The term open internet rules means the rules described in section 2 Bravo. 2. Vulnerable communities. The term vulnerable communities means alpha, ethnic and racial minorities. B. Socioeconomically disadvantaged groups. Charlie, rural populations. Delta, individuals with disabilities. And Echo, the elderly. So, I'll read through this. Okay, section 7, report on the FCC on enforcement actions. It's not what I was about to say. It had nothing to do with what I just read. It was just a random, not a random thought, just a side thought. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Federal Communications Commission shall submit to the Committee on Energy and Commerce of the House of Representatives and the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the Senate a report that describes all enforcement actions taken by the Commission under the rules described in Section 2 Bravo since such date of enactment, including the amount of each fine imposed or settlement agreed to the actions taken by the Commission to collect such fines and settlements, and the amounts of such fines and settlements amount of such fines and settlements collected. Translation: we're going to check and make sure you're doing your fucking job. Section 8. GAO report on broadband internet access service competition. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Comptroller General shall submit to the Committee on Energy and Commerce of the House of Representatives and the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the Senate a report that 1. Examines the efforts by the Federal Communications Commission to access competition, or to assess competition for providers of broadband internet access service as defined in Section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations in the market. 2. Describes how the Commission can better assess the competition. And 3. Includes a description of the steps, if any, the Commission can take to better increase competition among providers of broadband internet access service as defined in Section 8.2 of the Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations in the market. Professor Richard Wolff, in one of his recent videos, did a very excellent spiel about capitalism and competition and monopolies, which comes to mind right now, and it's on the Democracy at Work channel. It was posted this Monday, I believe. You should watch that. It's a very, very sound argument on why always having competition is completely fucking stupid. Section 9, engagement, although I could add my own reasons, but Section 9, engagement and outreach in Indian country regarding the importance of addressing the unique broadband internet access service challenges. Alpha, engagement with tribal communities to address broadband and internet access service needs. Not later than 3 months after the date of the enactment of this act. The Federal Communications Commission shall engage with and obtain feedback from tribal stakeholders and providers of broadband internet service as defined in Section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations on the effectiveness of the Commission's obligation to consult with Indian tribes to determine whether the Commission needs to clarify the Commission's tribal engagement statement and ensure accessible and affordable broadband internet access service as defined in Section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations in the tribal lands and areas through the engagement and outreach. So let's get those Indians some internet. Bravo, findings. The Congress finds the following. 1. According to an estimate from the U.S. Census Bureau, just 53% of Native Americans living on tribal lands have access to high-speed internet service. It's a travesty they can't get porn that fast. 2. The Government Accountability Office has found that the Federal Communications Commission data has overstated broadband availability and access on tribal lands in the United States. What a shock. 3. A federal court recently vacated a Federal Communications Commission order that limited federal subsidies for wireless providers serving tribal lands. 4. The United States government, industry, and non-governmental organizations should do more to identify and address the unique broadband access challenges faced by individuals living on reservations and tribal lands. Yes, so that everybody can get spied on by the NSA more efficiently. Section 10, accuracy of data underlying broadband deployment reports. Alpha, finding. Congress finds the following. 1. The Commission has released reports on its inquiries under Section 706 Bravo of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which is 47 U.S.C. 1302 Bravo, that detail the state of the deployment of broadband service in the United States. 2. Congress and the Commission have relied upon the accuracy of such reports to develop a broadband policy. 3. The findings of such reports have been particularly important in fostering rural broadband deployment and broadband deployment to school and classrooms. Bravo, requirements. The Commission, 1. May not release a report on an inquiry under Section 706 Bravo of the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which is 47 U.S.C. 1302 Bravo, based on the broadband deployment data that the Commission knows to be inaccurate, and 2. Shall use its best efforts to accurately detail broadband deployment in the United States and current inaccuracies in statements made by the Commission prior to the release of a report about the report. Right, we're reporting on the report. Love it. Charlie, commission defined. In this section, the term commission means the Federal Communications Commission. Section 11, Gal report on high-speed infrastructure. Words are hard. Shut up. Infrastructure. Alpha report. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Comptroller General of the United States shall submit to Congress and the Federal Communications Commission a report that contains 1. A list of ways the federal government can promote the deployment of broadband internet access service, especially the build-out of such service to rural areas and areas without access to such service at high speeds. And 2. Recommendations with respect to policies and regulations to ensure rural areas are provided affordable access broadband internet service. Affordable broadband internet access service. What's affordable anymore? Let's not forget we still have monopolies, which is what I was going to yap about before. Bravo, definitions in this section. Broadband internet service, internet access service has the meaning given in such terms in section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations. 2. Rural area means any area other than alpha, city, town, or incorporated area that has a population of more than 20,000 inhabitants. Or Bravo, an urbanized area contiguous and adjacent to a city or town that has a population of more than 50,000 inhabitants. What are they called if they have less? The boonies? Section 12, Gal report on challenges to accurate mapping. Alpha report. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Comptroller General of the United States shall 1. Determine the accuracy and granularity of the maps produced. That's a word you don't see every day. Of the maps produced by the Federal Communications Commission that depict wireless, or wireline and wireless broadband internet access service deployment in the United States. And 2. Submits to Congress a report that Alpha identifies 1. Any program of the Federal Communications Commission under a rule restored under Section 2 Bravo that relies on such maps, including any funding program, and 2. Any action of the Federal Communications Commission taken under rule restored under Section 2 Bravo that relies on such maps, including any assessment of competition in an industry, and Bravo provides recommendations for how the Federal Communications Commission can produce more accurate, reliable, and granular maps that depict wireline and wireless broadband internet access service deployment in the United States. Bravo, broadband internet access service defined. In this section, the term broadband internet access service has the meaning given such term in section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations. Section 13, Gal report on benefits of standalone broadband. Alpha report. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the Comptroller General of the United States shall transmit to the Committee on Energy and Commerce of the House of Representatives and the Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation of the Senate a report that assesses the benefits to consumers of broadband internet access service being offered on a standalone basis and not as part of a bundle with other services by providers of broadband internet access. Such report shall include recommendation for legislation to increase the availability of standalone broadband internet access to consumers, particularly those living in rural areas. Bravo, definition as used in subsection Alpha, the term provider of broadband internet access means a provider of broadband internet access, such as such term is defined in section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations. So, tell us how many people have internet only and not some package deal, which you might want to include both. Who has it as part of a package deal and who has internet only. I mean, it could be that it's already included somewhere else, but I'm just saying it doesn't say that in this legislation. Section 14, plan relating to Form 477 data collection. Not later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of this act, the Federal Communications Commission shall submit to Congress a report containing a plan for the commission on how the commission will evaluate and address problems with the collection on Form 477 of data regarding the deployment of broadband internet access service, as defined in Section 8.2 of Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations. You can go look up Form 477. Section 15, lawful content. Alpha, in general, as described in the report and order on remand, declaratory ruling, and order in the matter of protecting and promoting the open internet law that was adopted by the Federal Communications Commission on February 26, 2015, FCC 1524. That's the net neutrality. At least I'm pretty sure that was a net. I've been saying it's a net neutrality one all this time. I'm pretty sure that's the net neutrality rule. I might be wrong though. Fuck me. So yeah, it's a 1. Nothing in this act prohibits providers of broadband internet access from blocking content that is not lawful, such as child pornography or copyright infringing materials. Okay. 2. Nothing in this act imposes any independent legal obligation on providers of broadband internet access service to be the arbiter of what is lawful content. Okay. So you can block stuff that's illegal, but you don't get the right to decide what's legal and what's not legal. Okay, that's fair. Bravo. Broadband internet access service defined in this section. The term broadband internet access service has a meaning given such term in section 8.2 Title 47 Code of Federal Regulations. So this was passed in the House on April 10th of this year. So this seems like a good bill. Now, a couple things come to mind. 1, I still would much rather prefer municipal broadband, which this act doesn't really, well, so if you have municipal broadband, then your municipal broadband can decide to limit the internet from you. So this is kind of like a fuck you to those that want municipal broadband. I see why that's in there now. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I still want a free and open internet and municipal broadband, and I can't remember what the other fucking thing I wanted to say was. Oh, so yeah, if they pass this law, first it's got to make it past Trump. Which he's gonna veto it because he put a Jeep pie there. So you'd have to get two-thirds vote, which I don't know. We seem to have a lot of people in the Congress right now that like authoritarianism and want to screw all of us over. And even if it does pass and supersedes the veto power, you know, you have that whole, I really wanted to do it, but I just didn't get around to it. Yeah. So that is the Save the Internet Act of 2019. I am a lot for it, except for that one little part. So, why is everything Congress does have to have some little bit of fuck you people in it? Alright, well, that's that. Once again, my name is Charles Kovach, and I am campaigning for the presidency because I want a more direct democracy. And if you're interested in a more direct democracy, then I urge you to spread the word about this concept and this campaign, and I thank you for your time.